What's up? We got Arrow, Season 3, Episode 18, Public Enemy. So this episode starts off with the last one, where Maseo killed the mayor, and he targeted Felicity, but Ray gets in. Ray doesn't die, but we just don't like him. So anyway, so we see Roy and Thea. I guess, yeah. Roy's just at Thea's apartment. Remember? I guess Thea picked him up. How did he get there? Oliver left him at the end of during the last episode. So they discovered that Quentin has dubbed it, thinks that Oliver's back on his killing spree. He's like, OMG. So Merlin's not even in this episode, I'm gonna say it. So, yeah. There's also a flashback scene where Oliver meets with Shadow's sister, and she's played by the same actress who played Shadow, which is really interesting, but I'm not gonna talk about it because I think the flashbacks are boring. So, anyway, if I didn't think they're boring, I'd mention them. So, anyway, back to the episode. Back to the non-flashback part. Oliver tries to get Nyssa to help, saying that, Nyssa's like, how'd you know she was in Starling City? And she's like, oh, Laurel. As we didn't know you were going to train her, Nyssa. They're saying this up since Ted Grant left. They were saying this up, the whole Laurel trains Nyssa thing, since Ted left the show. But anyway, we see, so the big point is that Roz kidnaps Lance and tells him everything. He's like, hey, I like your daughter, Mr. And he's like, if Sarah hadn't met you, she would still be alive. And she was like, if Sarah hadn't met Nyssa, she would still be starved to death at the end of during the freighter of Lee and you. And he's like, Sarah was never on Lee and you. And he's like, the guy who you've been catching has been underneath your nose the entire time. Yes, Mr. Oliver is the Arrow. And I guess he tells him everything, because when Laurel, he's like, Oliver Queen is the Arrow. Wow, first Laurel, isn't that funny that this is episode 18, and both Lances find out. Laurel found out at the end of season 2, episode 18, and Lance finds out during season 3, episode 18. They both find out that Oliver's the Arrow. Laurel went to side with him, and Quentin went against him. Interesting. That is interesting. These writers may not have very good writing, but they do have very good planting of evidence that they are able to do this. So, anyway, back. So, Laurel comes in and says, the only reason why you're mad at the Arrow is because he didn't tell you about Sarah's death. And he says, that's not it. That's not it. He's like, are you mad at the Arrow? And he's like, you, Harper, the Freak in Central City, aka the Flash, or the Flash reference, by the way. I don't know why you call him the Freak. The Freak in Central City. The guy flying around. You guys all wearing masks. You guys are all wearing masks. And who did that? Who started that trend? The Arrow. And she's like, you're mad at the Arrow. And he's like, Arrow, Oliver Queen, same guy. And she's like, you're gonna think of calling him? You can't. It's weird. He mentioned that he put security at Oliver's house, Thea's place. The Queen Mansion hasn't been seen since the end of season 2. Where is it? Did it get blown up off screen? I don't know where it is. If he put it in, Oliver hasn't even been in his house since the end of season 2. So, yeah. So, what happens is that I'm checking the time. So Oliver decides to, surrender, and he decides to surrender to the police because he realizes that if he surrenders, they get immunity. But they're like, who cares about immunity, Oliver? You're gonna be in prison. So yeah, so they go and decide. So they go and they decide to fight. So they go, and Oliver's like, the 3 of you and him makes sense. What do you mean 3? Are you forgetting about Felicity and Diggle? You're like 3 of him. The 3 of you with him and him. That makes sense. There's 4 people, Lance. Are you forgetting about? Is the 3 of you meant Felicity, Diggle, and Roy? Or you meant Felicity, Diggle, Roy, and Laurel? I have no idea what he meant by the 3 of you and him. Makes sense. So then they decided to plan. So Quentin's in the prison bus with Oliver, and he says about how you brought that island, how you on that island created when you were on that island, you created Merlin and Slade. But I'm just like, hold up. He didn't create Merlin at all. Brick created Merlin by killing his wife. Not Oliver. So he's like, you're a monster, Mr. Queen, and you created monsters. And he's like, you could have just told me that his daughter was alive. And he's like, I like your family. And he slaps him saying, you have a right to remain silent. You got that? And he's like, do you have any questions? And he's like, question. So someone attacks the prison bus. He's like, are these your guys? And he's like, I told them to stand down. And then someone drops in and he's like, Oliver's in the arrow. Lifts his hood and he's like, I am, and reveal to be Roy. And yeah, also Felicity's mom. Okay, yeah, even though I don't like Roy, I love Roy. Roy is my new TV child after Sin. I love Roy. And now he's in jail. Roy is my new TV child. I hope nothing bad happens to him. Yeah, Felicity's mom shows up. It's just random. It's just like, she just shows up out of nowhere and she's like, I'm glad you finally have a boyfriend. And Felicity's like, Mom, like she's embarrassed or something. And yeah, I'm just like, yeah, and Felicity just, Mom, so Ray, there's so many R's in this show now. Roy, Felicity injects Ray with nanotech and he's all better now. Yay! Why? No one likes him. No one likes Ray. No one does. He's the worst. I used to be a Ray fan, but then coming back to this show made me realize how much I didn't like him. He's the worst. But that was the episode. It was really great of an episode. I enjoyed it very much. Sad that my third TV child, Roy, is now in custody for letting himself go. Yeah, weird that Oliver just okay, here's something weird. Oliver leaves Roy behind, and then suddenly he's in bed with Thea. When did that happen? did he just get a car? Because at the end of the last episode, Oliver was seen leaving the scene with Palmer by himself. No Roy. Roy was still unconscious by that point, but by the next episode, he's just randomly in Thea's bed. Even though the next episode, the ending scene takes place after that. So they should have showed us how Roy got out. But nope. Oh wait, yeah, Roy. How Roy went in bed with Thea. But no, they don't show us any of that. So that's it for the episode. I'll see you next time for some more Arrow.